Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You don't know my name's Chad. Take a dive on sports. And welcome to the 2022 Major League Baseball postseason preview. And this is going to be my prediction of how it's going to go. If you watched that last year, I was way off on quite a few of these teams. So this year, Major League Baseball has expanded the postseason. We will now have a 3-game set in the wild card round, where it's all going to be played at that host city. So it's I think it's kind of like a continuation of the regular season if you look at it that way. And this is something I brought up last year, that the baseball needed to do this. It actually helps benefits the league. It gives a lot of teams ability to get in there because you have your 3 division winners, you have 3 wild cards. Those are only going to be your 6 best teams anyways. I think it's perfect. Do a 3, 5, 7, 7. Outstanding. I mean, I think this is how it should go. It makes things moves a lot smoother. And it really makes baseball matter towards the end of the season because now you have more chances to get in, so more people are more tuned to it, and you get a lot more crazy action like you saw. But, we'll see how this one turns out. All these clubs in here are really, really good. They all have their key pitching, they all have their key hitting, so we really kind of see how things kind of play out. Before I dive into all that nonsense, if you could, go ahead and smash that thumbs up on me, especially like the content provider your league. Please, you two guys really help promote this channel out. You guys subscribe. Love you guys that view my work. I love you all for doing it. Not me to subscribe. It's cost you a dime. Helps me provide more time value for you. Now let's go ahead and start off on the American League. And the first matchup we're going to look at is Tampa Bay and Cleveland. Now Tampa Bay is one of these very well-organized clubs. I always seem to have a pitching, which is always seems to be their forte. They have a very deep bullpen. Because last year I called them be out the first round, and they got ostracized for it. And guess what happened? They went out the first round. I don't see it this year because they are taking on Cleveland. Now with Cleveland, so I have to get used to their new name. Even though they have comparisons to like the 2014-15 Kansas City Royals, the type of their play, kind of contact, hitting, speed, and defense is basically their MO. But their lack of power is what's going to really hurt them. And when you take on a deep bullpen like Tampa Bay's, it makes things a little harder if you can't really get on base to really do anything. But of course, then Cleveland's playing defense, so how much can Tampa Bay's bullpen carry them in the postseason? That's going to be a wild thing. And plus, they're they kind of feel the score. You need runs to get in. But Cleveland has a worse offensive output, so I think it's a really good matchup between these two. And I think this will go the full 3 games. I think Tampa Bay will squeak out with this one, but I think that's about as far as they're going to go. Next we look at is Seattle and Toronto. Seattle came in as I think a shocker for some, but a never say die attitude, but this organization that they just continue to battle and actually watch them earn their playoff spot, hitting a pinch hit home run. I mean, come on, you can't write a better story than that. So, this is one of the things that, it's going to be bad, but it's the pitching needs to carry them, and that could also get them fatigued, which could, give them some issues. Then you also got Toronto, which has a lot of familiar names. They have Bichette and Guerrero. They're the sons of legendary players. And they do quite well. And they also have George Springer there, and he has been pretty decent himself. So they have a lot of young talent on that team that could really help them out. It's the bullpen that's going to be Toronto's Achilles heel, and with Seattle's don't say die attitude, that can spell trouble. And I think this one will probably be the only sweep, and I'm going with Seattle on this one to take out Toronto. I know it's going to be a little rough. Now we head over to the National League and their wild card series, and we'll go head towards the Philadelphia St. Louis matchup. Now Philly is one of these clubs that you really think could really do stuff, but injuries have plagued them throughout the year, including Corey Knebel, who has been gone for the entire season. Brand Hand, still questionable for the playoffs. So there's a few issues with them in terms of their pitching staff, which really is going to hamper them. Bryce Harper hasn't really been too stellar, but he has been making his marks when he has to. We look at St. Louis. You have the swan song of Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina. That these guys are ending their time frame. Goldschmidt, who's another quality player there at first base as well. So the Cardinals are aging. They have a lot of veteran experience to carry them. But if they don't get the rotation right, head to the postseason, which could spell doom. But I think this one will go 3. I think St. Louis will take care of it because Busch Stadium doesn't like to call up the homers. So Bryce will be kind of taking out action almost. Then you have San Diego and the New York Mets. Boy, the Mets. But San Diego, once they won that Juan Soto sweepstakes in that trade, he hasn't done anything. So that kind of hampers them as well, not getting the offensive spark they need to kind of carry on. And the Padres rotation. I mean, pitching will always be a bad thing if you can't get the right pitchers in place or they just don't gel right at the right time. It's going to send the team home, and especially if your star players don't show up. But with Machado and Soto, that should be a nice 1-2 punch for the Padres. It's just their pitching staff will probably be their Achilles heel, and the Mets. What a late season collapse. I mean, when they were up like 21 games on the Braves and they blew it. So hopefully the Mets got all that stink out of the way, so that when they go in this postseason, they'll shake off the cobwebs of DeGrom and Scherzer need to focus, get back into form, because that's a dynamic 1-2 punch for the Mets pitching. But also Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor also need to make sure they input as well, and that's the problem. The star players from the Mets have kind of fizzled out towards the end of the season. Now's not the time. Now's the time for them to show up, and they're taking on the Padres. If they can silence the big guns and get to the rotation early, I think the Mets will be able to do it. But I think it's going to be a full 3 games, and the Mets will move on to the Divisionals. Now, the Divisionals, where you have the top 2 teams from each league, already have a first-round bye, so now they're sitting at home watching these guys play, so they get all this free video to get to watch. So winner Tampa Bay and Cleveland gets to head to the Bronx to take on the Yankees, where they'll take on the AL all-time home run king Aaron Judge. I get everyone else saying, nope, Barry Bonds is a home run, and he's number 7 all time. Okay, yep, you're right. Bonds is technically home run king. But you still have AL records, and that's where Judge takes over. The fact that the AL record has ran through 3 different Yankees let you know the quality of players the Yankees have always had throughout their history. But going back, it is the Yankees. They've done a very good job this year in terms of getting that team in place to make a decent run in the postseason. Now, I actually think they can make it all the way to the World Series. I really do. It all depends on how the team reacts, how they pitch towards Aaron Judge. Because Aaron Judge gets walked, they don't hit him in. They're not scared of anyone else on his lineup. So it's one of those things you kind of look at, but there's enough talent on this team to really keep them in there, especially when you got Garrett Cole and Frankie Montas that can really benefit a lot of things. But as long as they can take care of that, I think they can handle it, and they can give the Astros all they can handle. And I think they'll get past Tampa Bay in their divisional round. As far as Houston, they get Seattle. Same thing. I mean, Houston, once again, develop a nice quality team. Over 100 wins this season. They still have Altuve and Bregman from the World Series champion team. Regardless of who you take on that team. But they also have a nice balance of younger talent as well. So they got a nice, vet youth combination that really makes them a potent team to take on. And I got them knocking off Seattle, going the full set. Same thing with the Yankees. So that means the Yankees and Astros will take off and battle in the ALCS. And go ahead and say Yankees take this one in 7. That'll be a hell of a series. We'll go to the National League. We'll try to hurry and finish off this National League for you. The Cardinals will now take on the Braves, and the Braves right now are on fire. Could they repeat as World Series champions? That is the question. We haven't had that in a while. I think the last time someone did that was the Yankees. And things look right in Atlanta's way. I think the aging veterans for the Cardinals will bring them down. They might be able to sneak one from Atlanta, but that's about it. I think Atlanta should be able to cruise and take the series. For the Dodgers, they take on the Mets. And the Dodgers always seem to struggle in the postseason. Not sure why. They always seem to be favored to do a lot of things. They never live up to the hype. I mean, they only got one World Series title, and all this time frame, they should have won like 3 or 4 of them. So, much like the Atlanta Braves in the 90s. I think the Mets will give them all they can handle because they got to go back and forth across the country. So it's going to be a long road games. So there's going to fatigue going to play in a factor in a lot of these games, especially if it's going to go a long series, which I think it will. I think this will be a full series. And I think the Dodgers will just barely edge out the Mets. It means now you have the Dodgers and the Braves colliding once again in the NLCS. Will it be a repeat performance? I don't think so. I think the Dodgers will have a spark underneath them to really try to get over their hump. I mean, we get Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner. They're looking to cash in and put a ring on it, and they're going to go a full series against the Braves, and we'll have a classic Yankees and Dodgers World Series. I mean, that's just when it used to. Back in the old days when they used to be the Brooklyn Dodgers and New York Yankees. So I think that's going to be the World Series this year is the Dodgers and Yankees. I'm going to go on a limb and say this is going to be a quick series. It's not going to be a long one. I think these teams are just going to be battled, and I think the Dodgers rotations would know how to handle the Yankees, work around Judge, hamper everything else, and I think it will be a sweep. Now, I could be completely wrong in this one, and more likely I am. But I'm going to say the Dodgers take the World Series away from the Yankees. And there you go. Quick down and dirty, quick preview of the upcoming series. My picks for the winners of each series to include the World Series champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and then we'll see them getting broken up. But, hey, let me know down below. Let me know how completely wrong I am about these things. And a few of you will, I know. But, always love hearing from you guys. Once you're there, make sure you hit that thumbs up once again. You guys share the video with your friends and family. It helps put this channel out. Once you subscribe, make sure you click that bell. That lets you get notified next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.